Welcome to Navigating the Irish Art Scene, the first talk in the Exchanges series. Exchanges is a programme of talks, workshops and residencies from Sligo County Council Art Service and funded by the Arts Council's Invitation to Collaboration scheme. Exchanges focuses on funding and supporting culturally diverse and socially engaged art. The Exchanges programme is presented in partnership with Create, Cairde Sligo Arts Festival, the Model Sligo and the Huxwell Theatre. Our talk series is presented in collaboration with Create. Today's talk is pre-recorded due to COVID-19 restrictions, but if you have any questions for the artists, you can put them in the text box on the screen. And so I'd like to introduce Hina and Amir Alrob in conversation with Evgeny Shtorn about navigating the Irish art scene.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Evgeny Shtorn. I used to work at Create, National Development Agency for Collaborative Art, as a cultural diversity researcher. And it's my great pleasure to have this conversation today with two people that I managed to work with together and share different events and different meetings that have been organized while I was working in Create. And in another occasion, it's also for me a great pleasure to just be able to share with you the pleasure to learn about the art and about the creativity of these two fantastic individuals that we will now have a conversation. The meeting, the event today on Zoom is called Navigating the Irish Art Scene, and we will definitely try to understand how to navigate such a complex thing as the art scene, and especially the Irish art scene. But to start, I would like to just say that, over just a little bit over a year, somewhere in Wuhan, some invisible, minuscule thing appeared and changed the human history forever. And now, four people sitting in the same small island in the North Atlantic cannot meet together and conversate. So we had over 40 minutes of technical issues, so I'm a little bit tired, and I ask you pardon because my English is getting more and more inexistent in the direct proportion of how tired I am. But nonetheless, I hope we will manage and we will have an interesting conversation. And I mentioned Wuhan also for a reason. I think that the very fact that something that started so far away from Ireland, but that affected every single corner of the planet, speaks by itself. We are living in a global world. We are living in the epoch when no one is can put a border and protect themselves from the rest of humanity. We are living together. We are part of the same organism. And with this in mind, our conversation about cultural diversity in the Irish art scene is gaining completely different dimension. And this is something I would really like to you bear in mind while watching and navigating with us through certain questions, and not all of them may be easy. So my great pleasure is to introduce you my good friend and really a person that I'm so happy to be in touch with every time I'm in touch, which is Amir Abu Alrob, who is a Palestinian refugee and a theater maker. And in 2013, they joined the Freedom Theater, TFT, at Jenin refugee camp, Palestine, and completed 4 years of study in theater and cultural resistance. And in 2017, they worked with the Freedom Theater School as a facilitator. they have been a part of LGBT movement in Palestine. In July 2019, they took a course in character and scene study in the Lear in Dublin. They performed and in and co-devised the bed at Cairde Sligo Arts Festival in 2020, and in October 2020 they were recipient of the AIC Bursary Award for Collaborative Arts and Cultural Diversity. So we will speak with Amir about all their journey to Ireland, but also about the absolutely fascinating experience that they gained while in the renowned Freedom Theater in Palestine. And also, it's another great pleasure to introduce you one of the probably most how to say it? Old is a bad word because it will lead us to the wrong direction. But to the person that I met while ago when I just arrived to Ireland, and we went together through the first summer school on cultural diversity, and was bumping into each other here and there for years, which is a fantastic miniaturist artist from Pakistan, Hina. Hina will introduce herself with much more details and will show her work. But before we will proceed to the self-introductions, I would only like to ask you one question that I always make to the artists with cultural diverse background, or migrant background, whatever. Do you consider yourself, Amir, an Irish artist?
First of all, thank you so much, Evgeny, for the introduction. And yes, I consider myself as an Irish artist because I believe in one thing, that if you live between people for 40 days, you become one of them. And the journey as an artist for me in Ireland, it's been fascinating and really interesting. And I've always been surrounded with people who felt they are people from home. And yeah, I feel, yes, I'm an Irish artist.
That's great. I think Ireland is very privileged to have you as an Irish artist. Hina, what about you?
Thank you, Evgeny, for this beautiful introduction. And but my perception is I am an artist, and I am producing a work. My roots are from Pakistan. So like I am working here since 2015, but I thinking it's a bit different than Amir. I cannot consider myself an Irish artist, but I'm consider myself an artist. Like Irish art scene and Irish people support me in a way, like they like my work and they felt like it is the work should be highlighted. But I think I cannot say myself an Irish artist because I am not born here. I feel this difference in between art scene as well.
This is very interesting. Yeah. Yes, every time we had this conversation with different people, with different artists, no matter where are they coming from. This idea of Irishness can be an inclusive tool, but can be also an exclusive and alienating. Do we have to reclaim being Irish because we lived here for more than 40 days? Or do we have to stick to our roots and be proud of being ourselves and have our heritage, have our culture, our language, everything? Or can we combine it without compromising either of this? This is just the questions that we don't have to have any answer right now. But this is something that this quite recent processes of the integration of artists from a migrant background, active integration that the Arts Council started not very long ago, they are the questions that we will have to think about in the foreseeable future, and testing different scenarios and trying and trying to find ourselves and changing, because the cultural exchange, the whole process of bringing your arts, it's like a plant that you put in another soil and it can not grow, or it can grow differently. It can be bigger or smaller because the climate is different. You know, the same trees that are growing in the mid Russia, when you bring them to the north of Russia, they are becoming small. So it's the same tree, but it's smaller. And something like that can happen to another, to the arts practice, to the art, and things like that. So I think it's kind of, we need to be open to the possibility that our art is changing in Ireland, that Ireland is influencing our art as well as we are influencing Irish art scene. And how you both navigated it, we will speak after you present your small introductions about your own art. So I would invite Hina to start with your miniatures, with your visual presentation. Thank you, Joanne, for facilitating it. It's the technical issues that I was mentioning. So we have a little bit more complex today constellation, but thanks to that and thanks to Joanne, you can see Hina's work, and then I will invite Amir to present their work, and then we can come back to our initial conversation.
Yes, when you are right, we have the burden in a, like, we are witnessing of two cultures, like one culture where we are brought up and where we get our studies done. And the second culture is the Irish culture where we are rerouting ourselves. So my art is always representing about the social issues, about, I am a person who always trying to break the boundaries. So like, here is some samples of my work. So this is the miniature painting I create for women. It's all about the Pakistani women, like how they are divided by the men. It's a patriarchal society, and how like we are treating by the men socially accepted and non-accepted women, because there is some red light area. My research is about prostitutions. So it's all about how women's are divided by the men and how they are treating both in both way, the socially accepted women and non-accepted women. Because this is my thesis painting, and I have created in when I have done my master's in Pakistan. So there is some samples of miniature painting. Miniature is a very traditional technique, and we can learn from its Mughal miniature, and it's a foliage from Mughal paintings. And I make these flowers, and this is the painting about elevator. It's all about the escape from the, like how we can escape from the impurities kind of things. This painting is in a permanent collection of Arts Council Ireland. It's a ruined garden. This is the series about child killing I have created. This is a whole, these are the whole series of paintings. This is the second one. Yeah, this is the acrylic painting while I'm doing my course in NCAD. It's a visual research course with Felicity Clare. I learn it here. It's a bit like I learned from the Irish art here. The next painting is in the permanent collection of Arts Council Ireland. Last year, Arts Council Ireland, it's an honor for me. Like they bought my two of my work in their permanent collection. It's a Shattered Soul. And next, I had a solo show in Ballina Art Center, and this is all the work I create. At that time, Syrian war is going on, so it's all about the these imagery. All I developed about the Garden of Anthropocene and how we are created and polluted the earth by themselves. This work I have produced during the residency in collaboration of Create and Fire Station collaboration, and I got this award in 2018. Currently, I'm researching on the migration of my grandparents it is from 1947 till now. Like I am now connecting my migration to my grandparents' migration. So this roots painting I've developed. This is again untitled. This is all the work I have developed in Ireland. These are the clouds. I'm fascinated by the Irish clouds, so I create these clouds. I have produced this work during the residency of Cowhouse Studio in Wexford last year. Yes, this is all about the relationship. And as Evgeny said about, we are all go through with the situation of COVID through it start from the Wuhan and it took take over all over the world. So it changed the perspective of thinking of everybody, not even like every single person is thinking about like how we are all in a one thing and how we all affected by one thing, and COVID beyond the borders, it goes everywhere. So my research is all about the next slide, Joanne, please. Thank you. Yeah, this is all this all installation. I made it last year in Skibbereen. It's all about how COVID attacked us and how it took over all the global, like all the countries and all the people are affected by this without the boundaries, without the classism, without the gender issue, without the without the thinking of like it's black, it's Asian, it's American, it's English or it's Irish. It goes everywhere. So I take the different artists' views as well about my work and about how we can think about in this difficult time. So everybody is thinking in the same way, like we are all affected and we are all very painful with this situation, because my brother got affected and I'm really touched with that. And I was always thinking like my husband will die because he's an heart patient. So I create this whole installation in Skibbereen. This is the installation I created in TU Dublin. It's all about the destination unknown, and it is again about the suffocation while living in the DPC and how I can, like, there is a very difficult time period for me because my husband was sick. So I created this destination unknown. This is my recent work, part of Asia Art and Activism, and there is 39 people died in a lorry and suffocated in a lorry while they are traveling from Korea to England. And it's a part of Asia Art Activism last year in November, and this is a video work. This is just a drawing slide you can see, and it's all about migration. And the next slide is blind LA. While you are in some difficult condition and you cannot find the ways, every way you can go and every door is closed. So this is the blind LA I have created while I was living in DPC. So this is the glimpse of just of my work. I cannot say like here is Irish artists and Irish people who told me about different things, and I don't know like which is important and which is not important. Even during the when I apply for the fire station and create residency, I don't know about that. And 16, 17 artists, Irish artists, I was just played my work in a group shows. They send me the links like Hina must apply for that. This is very good for you and you must go for that. So these kind of like help and support I got from the Irish artists and the Arts Council offices. They always gave me grants, and I go through with the material grants every year. So I produce a lot of work during living here. Thank you.
Thank you, Hina. We will speak about it. We will definitely touch upon that. Thank you very much for your introduction. And it would be, I am one of the privileged who saw your work not through Zoom, and I hope a lot more people will be able to see it soon. Amir, I give the stage to you. You are so familiar to the stage. This is a natural habitat for you. So the floor is yours, and then we will proceed with the conversation.
Thank you, Evgeny. I can introduce myself first of all about from the Freedom Theatre, where I started all my artistical journey, where I completed 4 years of culture resistance studies and theatre studies. And part of my, through this journey, like all the time, the most important thing is how to strengthen my voice and how to strengthen, to empower myself and to empower others in the society to talk about their voices, if they, where they come from, you know, having different issues in the society. And from there, for many years, 8 years, let's say, in Palestine, working as a collaborative artist, and also I worked in hospitals with children who have cancer as a doctor clown with Red Nose International, Palestine. And from there, in 2019, after I used to facilitate the Freedom Theatre School, I had to move to Ireland for many different issues. But it's the most important part that's now I'm in Ireland, where I started my journey in Sligo in a Massey meeting, where I just to stand, you know, going there to listen about the experience of other asylum seekers and what direct provision means in Ireland. And then I found myself standing with a group of people outside, and we just did a bit of project where we just wanted to document a project about our experience as artists living in direct provision center and our relationship with that bed that it drags us every day to it more and more, and what the things that we have to do to resist this bid and what the resistance comes there. And also it was really important to go with a group on just talking about their personal stories and how to start from the personal story there and explain that yes, we are asylum seekers, but in the same time we are artists and we have stories to share. And then I moved on with a bit the project for 10 months, working in collecting and writing stories. And in the pandemic, when the pandemic started, we did a 30-minute piece with Cairde Arts Festival and the Huck's Wall Theatre, where they gave us a space. And we filmed this 30-minute piece that went to the Department of Justice and also were funded from the Art Council. I would say, like, you know, working in Palestine and working here in Ireland as a collaborative artist always showed me the real way of doing art is being a human first and look at my human needs before looking at my artistical needs. And also what it means to be away from your home and to be part of a new culture and to be part of the new culture, the struggles in that culture, because moving in from Palestine, I'm not moving myself only, I'm moving also my own struggle to another place. And my struggle will be included to this place where I had to keep myself there. Yeah. After the bidder project happened and when we presented it, I received my Minister of Justice letter I received my refugee declaration here in Ireland. And after that, in 2020, in October also, I received the Bursary Award from a Create of the AHC Bursary Award Art and Collaborative Arts and Community Scheme. And the project was about one letter from the Arabic alphabets, which is the third letter of the Arabic alphabets, where it comes in my name to feminize my name. And this letter comes to the ta marbuta, comes to feminize the adjectives and the nouns. And I took this letter in research for the last 6 months, where I found this letter comes also in the word immigration, comes in the word of justice, al-Nakba, comes in resistance. And through that also, I could make a 15 minutes documentary piece where I'm planning to apply for another fund for it, and to work it with the community. And the documentary, it's talking about my experience in direct provision, and how also my experience in direct provision is different, because I live in a place, it doesn't look like a direct provision, it looks like B&B. And also I had like, my journey in Ireland was totally crazy and good and bad in the same time. And from there now also, I applied for the Art Council for a new project that's for a theatre project that came as a development of the Marbuta project. And I'm just going on with those things. And I'm really thankful for Create for giving me this opportunity to explore my work and to explore my vision and ideas. And what I believe in art, what I believe in right now is being an artist. It's really important, but also looking at the present time while living in Ireland, is I still miss one thing. It's, just to create this context with the Irish, that just, to calculate the context in the Irish language, how to use the language and to be part of the language. And I'm gonna join a school to study, or a college where I'm gonna look into studies to be part of the Irish community more and more, and to know how to be part of the language as itself. Yeah.
In Irish?
No, not Irish language as itself, but here in Ireland, like, because I come from a different minority, like, I'm not used to the artistical language that the Irish artists are using, or I'm not used to, the way how Irish people communicate. And, thanks for Corona giving me the chance, being for 1 year, not having having the connection to the Irish society. And coming back also to the idea when I said, yeah, I'm an Irish artist because I'm part of the Irish society now, and I have the Irish residency, and I'm proud of that, and I'm happy to be an Irish. And also, to be honest, Ireland, it's similar to Palestine in different ways, especially with the government here. Yeah.
I don't know if we have to go deep into that conversation.
No, I don't think so, because that's gonna lead into different diagonals.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you very much. So as far as your both presentations are making us understand that the Irish cultural context provides you with enough opportunities for your realization and development of your art. Nonetheless, I would also, it wouldn't be me if I won't bring this conversation to some more critical, maybe, overview, because I don't know if it's part of your experience, but as a researcher, I definitely had a conversation with other artists, especially artists of color, or artists that are coming from a broader non-Christian, let's say, heritage, who have experienced different sorts of racist attitudes towards them in their navigation through the Irish context, not exclusively cultural. Was it part of your experience? Of course, you both, and I would be very clear here, I may be imposing my own political view, but I do think that three of us have been subjects of racialization through direct provision system, no matter how it looks like B&B or not. It's still an institutionalized living. We are still under camera surveillance and control, being particularly perfectly adults and able to sort for ourselves. We have been experimenting a sort of institutionalization, infantilization. So it shouldn't be confusing that the conditions in direct provision is not an issue as such. The direct provision is an issue. The very idea that people, the distrust that is put over people in need of international protection. So At least I would like to kind of point out that this would be my perception of the system that I am experienced too. But what I would like to ask you is, did you in your art, in your navigation through the arts in Ireland, have you met a racist attitude? Have you met a sort of situations when you felt that you have been kind of, maybe not directly discriminated against, but in a very sometimes subtle way, because racism can express itself in a very subtle way. Have you experienced this sort of alienation? Maybe Hina, you can start again.
Yeah, actually, this is very different. I live with the people, but I think different kind of person. I didn't face any kind of racism, but one of my friend, she don't know, and she talk about like black people. This is the word just she said, and it is a very strong reaction because some people are living behind her. So I was just witnessed that, like, it was not a mistake, but it is a cultural difference. And she was annoyed by the word, and she doesn't mean about she I know the lady, but it is a very big quarrel between them about these things. But I didn't face any kind of racism over there in the system. A lot of African friends I have, and a lot of people, they are really helping, because my husband was sick and I was in a really difficult condition at that time, mentally and physically and emotionally as well. So but I find all the people very cooperative, and I didn't find any kind of issue, this kind of issue by myself.
This is very good, Hina. It's very good. No, I'm really happy that there are also different scenarios, and it's not all black and white. And that's why we need these conversations, because,
No, and even like Irish friends, they are. I joined the ETB, and there is a lot of old friends. They're all Irish, but they're all Irish friends, and they guide me like in a mother way. They guide me like, Hina, your art is so good, so you can go here. You apply there. You do that. I don't know even like where I need to apply and where I have to go. I just started a course from ETB. So that is the way, like, Irish people helped me in that way. So I really appreciated that thing as well.
This is very good. This is very good. Thanks to
I
those
think
people.
I am very lucky to met with some people, like they are really they push me. Even arts council officer of County Mayo, the County Mayo, I have several friends over there. Even myself, I didn't find like my art is fit in with the Irish art scene. I have this guilty and I have this cultural differences think in my mind. But when the curator like Catherine Marshall and Patrick Murphy, they selected my pieces with the Irish art scene, so I feel like a bit confidence about my work. These kind of things are happen with me. Like I feel myself very lucky in that way.
This is great. Thank you, Hina. What about you, Amir?
Well, what about, yeah, of course I faced racism. We all face racism. I'm not talking about racism in the art scene, because, see, coming from Palestine to Ireland also, it's moved this side away of the idea of racism, because there's a great and wonderful understanding from the Irish society to the Palestinian society. And, I always introduced myself as a Palestinian, and I always were respected about that. But the racism I faced, oh, of course, I have a brown hair and I have a brown eyes in the government. When you go to the government, you are the foreign there. And I just wanted to talk about something that's going to explain what the racism I face exactly. A few days ago, I had, I'm applying for my social welfare now because I'm coming out of DB. And I've been trying to communicate with the government myself, and, to be kind of nice. I know how to talk to them and things, but it didn't work. And for me, that's, yeah. And I had to take my manager with me to entry office in Drahada, and suddenly the language is totally different. The way how they reacting to the things are totally different. And there I understand that, yes, here is racism comes in this place when it comes, you know, to your, you know, to be here, to be part of here. They doesn't want this. But also the second thing I wanted to talk about racism through my studies, cultural resistance and the idea of resistance. You can allow a person to be racist to you, and you can not allow a person to be racist to you. I felt what I were lucky with here in Ireland, that I came with a language. And that was a key to be part, a key to connect and to be allowed. And yes, I got this opportunity because I looked into it, the opportunity of being an artist here, and I always fight it for my place as an artist. But it wouldn't come if I didn't fight for it. Nobody will tell you, oh, you have to come and to do your art. And I'm just thinking about other people. Okay, I were lucky to have English and they were lucky to speak the language, but what about others? What they have to do?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and,
yes, this is
and also, you know, my experience here in direct provision, I think because I understand the system very fast, and I understand how the system goes, and you know, I've been able to help others, you know, to put them in the system, to get their BBS number, to get lawyers for them. Also, that's, you know, that's made another face of racism in me in a way or another, because I had to be stuck here without no reason.
Yeah. It's a difficult situation and difficult stories to document, but I think it's also well needed, you know, because this is kind of the problem, no, that we are on one side as we would be more comfortable not experiencing any racism, but from the other side, we do experience it sometimes. And when we experience it, what do we do with that? Do we take an action? Do we speak out loud? Do we try to resolve the issue? Or we just trying to kind of avoid it, you know, in a sense, trying to navigate again through it without confrontation, in the non-confrontational way. And this is when we are approaching to one of the maybe more hardest dilemmas, because I think that the dealing with racism is not just an obligation of people of color, of racialized people, but is the obligation of the whole society if we share the understanding and the belief that racism is an evil, and we need to deal with that. In this sense, I really think that the stand against racism is something that we can do at everyday iteration, regardless of our race, regardless of our gender, regardless of our heritage. We all have to be against it, considering that this is probably the worst social disease that exists nowadays. And we know that racism kills, and we know that racism does most terrible things to the human, to the humanity, and to the human being. I would also like to touch a little bit on the your experience within the Irish arts sector. You mentioned several awards that you have been granted and some other things. And I know that at least both you, Hina, and you, Amir, mostly, at least they initiated the big the first breakthroughs that you got were through the special bursaries that are assigned to culturally diverse artists. Now the question is, have you tried to participate in some other calls for awards that are open for everyone, regardless of being migrant or not? And if yes, what is your success rate? This is one question. And then the second question would be, maybe we can just answer them in complex, is, do you think that this migrant special awards for migrant artists are needed, or we need to try to kind of mainstream it in a way that we don't have to separate and segregate through the special sort of programs and awards? So maybe some reflection on this, and we will slightly moving to the end of our conversation. Thanks again, everyone who is watching us. Maybe just to break out a little bit the structure, Amir, you can start answering, and then we proceed with Hina.
Yeah, well, I would love to answer that. See, I didn't apply, like, I applied once for something that's away from, you know, the idea of the headline immigrants and a refugee and asylum seeker. And it didn't work well because, you know, I was in a space trying to understand things. I wasn't ready for that. But when it comes to the question you asked about, it should be going on that specially grants for immigrants, or should we go all together? I think it's really important to, you know, to disconnect immigrants from other projects, not because it's just to make the differences and to make two groups, because first of all, the way we work in art as immigrant people, it's totally different. And the second thing, it's just makes it different when, you know, the way that, you know, an immigrant will apply for it, because it will give them all the possibility to introduce what they think that they are able to introduce. Because when we come into a normal form of a project, or into a normal form of work, it would be like, it would not include all the information that an immigrant should include as an artist. Like, for example, if I applied for example, a grant that doesn't, like the AC award, that's special granted for people who live displacement and people who face, you know, the experience of that I am in right now, I won't be able really to be part of the art scene, because it will not, if I apply for something else, yeah, I will get the grant maybe, but I will not present what I should present. And also it's the door, like the door to give me to present my story and to present what I have. And then it's on me if I wanted to change this story or not. It's up to the artists as themselves. You want to stay as an immigrant, or you want to be an artist, as a general artist, an Irish, Palestinian, you know, in a world context, artists.
Thank you, Amir. Actually, the most I saw somewhere recently that the most frequent phrase of 2020 is "Sorry, you are on mute," which I think I almost started to speak with you with the mic on mute. Hina, yes, please, if you can proceed right now.
Yeah, for my thinking is we are all artists at the first place. Why you are interviewing me because of art, because of my art? Why people are highlighting my things? But when we categorize the artist in in boundaries, and we categorize like this artist can just go for this thing, not go for a rest of things. This is, I think, I don't feel like it's good. Like, it should not be categorized. When you need to search someone, because people this is important for an artist, but all the time, like, if when we apply, we have to go through with the immigrant kind of things to apply opportunities. It is not, I think it is categorizing the artist. And art has no boundaries. Art has multiple language. The colors are similar in everywhere all over the world, and artists' voices should be highlighted. And the thing you said to me, like last year I got an Arts Council Ireland award. Like, I was not expecting, like, I got it. And then some of my Irish friends, they said to me, like, Hina, you are very lucky to got it, and we didn't got it yet. Like, they are really, like, they study from here, they are working in UK and Ireland, and like they said, like, Hina, this is a very prestigious award, you got it, and we didn't got it. So like I think I find in like they are looking towards the work and the quality of work, and I really feel like we can apply everything and like whatever suits for each and everyone. I'm not categorizing myself as an immigrant artist. That's why I'm saying I am an artist. Like I am working just for the sake of art, and this COVID make me fearless. Like whatever the situation, I'm just producing art. No matter COVID is everywhere, so we can get affected, and within days we can go from another journey. So like I am thinking categorization for the art scene is, I think, to uh, to hold the artist in boundaries, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I'm not on mute. Good.
Yeah, you're not muted now. I think
Thank
they're
you.
allowing you to speak.
Yeah, I'm not here to agree or disagree, but at the same time, I think that, maybe let's me rephrase a little bit to add just this very last, and maybe we will finish even with that. But what I was thinking about when you were showing your works and speaking about your work on the sex workers, on the feminism, women, there is a lot of kind of feminism in your art, and feminism is a deeply political thing. It's a political movement. We cannot pretend that this is not. Or Amir, in your biography, in your art as I know it, in the Freedom Theater, in the very idea that you are claiming to be Palestinian, it is also a lot of politics. So even in your art practice, there is a lot of politics involved. And we know that the politics makes kind of art to be to move to this idea of a political statement. No, we cannot avoid every piece of art that you do is a sort of political statement, is a sort of, a politicization of certain topic you are talking about through the arts. And in this case, do you think that the Irish arts context is welcoming the messages, the political messages that you are trying to send? And with your answers, we will finish this conversation. Thank you very much. I want artists to have the last word. And it has been a great pleasure. Well, Hina just disconnected directly. Maybe that was her answer. But you won't escape, Amir. So this will be...
No, I won't escape. I will answer that. I can't be an artist. I can't do an art piece if it doesn't have the political dimension in it, the personal dimension, and the societal dimension in it. Then it's not a piece of art. And there's loads of art like that. And being here as a Palestinian, because I'm not looking, to be honest with you, I'm not looking for Irish papers and, being an Irish only. I respect Ireland and respect the Irish history. I'm looking for my right as a human being, as a Palestinian. I wanted to go back to my home, to be, to get my own nationality and to hold it up and proudly. I am Palestinian. But yes, in Ireland, I think there's a huge welcoming for anything. See, the Irish society is a bit complicated. There is cold and hot in it. There's white and black. There is rainbow and there is no rainbow at all. It's up to the area you are in. It's up to the art field that you work in. Also, that's how I see it. But yeah, there's a huge welcoming for anything I see. And also, I don't know, maybe because I'm realistic, that's why I feel I'm welcomed in the art scene.
Thank you, Amir. Hina.
Thank you.
I just lost the connection. I'm sorry. Can you repeat your question?
Well, it was, do you think the political message that you are sending through your art is welcomed by the Irish art context?
Yes, because I had a show in Ballina Art Center, and I am selecting, like my upcoming shows are in 2022, 2023. So like I'm preparing a show, and I discussed with a lot of I think top management from the Irish different board of directors and people. I discussed my ideas, and they really appreciate my art, and I got like good response from different artists. And after even the fire station and Create, a lot of people said to me, we saw your work. So like collaboration happened after the summer residency with you, with Thomas, and with a filmmaker, David Bickley. So like I feel like it is very welcoming for me. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So answering that, I still take the last words, which wasn't my intention, but anyway, thank you very much. And I wanted just to show that you are changing Ireland with your answers, with your art, with your contribution, with your passion. You are changing this country for good. And this country is changing us, and we are changing this country. This is what cultural diversity is about. Thank you very much, Joanne. Thank you, Sligo, for having us today. You can make your questions in the chat box. Thanks again. Stay safe, and hope to see you all soon offline. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for your time. All. Bye-bye.